Hey everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started. It's about a minute past, so if you could go ahead and take your seats, just for the few that are left over. We'll get started in just a minute. In the meantime, though, there's something that Rosalind loves to do at every event she speaks at. So if you could just look up here with big smiles and say cheese, because she's going to take a picture.
That's going on my blog.
Yes, you will all be famous on Rosalind's blog. Well, welcome and thank you for coming to this panel. I know you have choices when you are choosing panels, and we love to see a packed room. So thank you again for being here. So as you've probably already read, the topic for today is specifically PPC affiliate marketing. But I will say this, that every single one of our panelists here is a through and through affiliate marketer. They don't just do PPC. So if you do have questions at some point that are not PPC related, you're more than welcome to ask them. It's not going to be an issue. We'll start off talking more about PPC. Also, we don't have presentations. This is very informal. We really want your questions. Your questions are going to guide and are going to direct the entire conversation here. We'll obviously start off with introductions. I'll have questions as well to kind of kick things off. But if you have questions, please write them down as they come up. There is a microphone right in the middle of the aisle here. You'll see right in the middle of the room. You can walk to that, line up right behind it. Or if you simply raise your hand, we can try to run the mic to you. We like to get the questions on the microphone, so if you could wait until you're in front of a microphone to ask, simply because then everyone hears it, and it's good for the recording that's going on in the back as well. So just to quickly introduce, from a personal level, all of our panelists and myself, maybe I'll start with myself. My name is McDougall. I'm the founder of Affiliate Classroom. We've been around for 4 years. We teach affiliate marketing. That's the easiest way to put in what we do. We teach affiliates. We also teach merchants and managers on how to do affiliate marketing and how to manage programs. Related to today, obviously, I'm assuming, how many of you in here are affiliates? Can I see a raised hand? How about affiliate managers or merchants just kind of peeking in? Oh, good. That's great. It's a great mix. So, we recently launched a course called PPC Classroom, and I think that might be why this panel was kind of put together. And so we have a range of courses all around different topics, PPC Classroom being one of them, of whom Amit was our author. And so that's a little bit about myself. I do affiliate marketing, have been doing it for years. That's how I got started. I was started in my dorm room in college and kind of just went from there and never looked back, and absolutely love affiliate marketing, which is why I'm still here. I have, over the course of the last few years, gotten a chance to know every single one of these panelists on a professional and personal level as well. We are very good friends, but more importantly, every single one of them is someone I trust completely. So when I have a question, these are the first people I go to. Whether it's PPC, blogging, natural SEO, social marketing, it doesn't matter. If it has to do with affiliate marketing, these are the guys I go to. This is exactly why these are the people on the panel. They are by far, from what I know, the smartest people when it comes to affiliate marketing. And the really neat thing about the panel here is every single one of them does things pretty differently. So a lot of times we get students that want that one strategy, they want that one way it works. Well, there really isn't a one way things work. And you're going to get a chance to get a feel for that as they go through their individual strategies. They're very different. So you can start to see how the business and the model, even when it comes to PPC, can start to really wrap itself around what you do or your personality or how you like to market. So I will quickly introduce to you guys what I know about each of these panelists, and then they'll also tell you a much more detailed description of what they do, so you start to also understand who you want to direct your questions to. When you ask questions, you're more than welcome to direct it to the entire panel or to a specific person, whatever you choose. We'll start at the far end here. Far end is Amit Mehta. And many of you have probably heard of him by now, or even sat in on many of his sessions. He's spoken at Affiliate Summit before. Great friend, also a business partner in PPC Classroom. I've learned the most about PPC from him. Absolutely, just the way he scales PPC is something I've never seen done anywhere else. He spent millions on it, and he just takes a campaign and can scale it to an nth degree. So definitely an amazing PPC expert for all of your PPC questions. We have Colin McDougall here, who I also met, I think, actually at Affiliate Summit a couple years back. Exactly. So, it was an introduction through Rosalind, and Colin, I've known him for a couple years now, and I've seen him go from being the natural SEO expert through being like the social media guy to all of a sudden now being, he's doing some crazy PPC stuff as well that he shares, and he's just doing it all. And one of the things I always laugh about with Colin is it's his lifestyle that is really interesting about him, and hopefully he'll talk about the type of lifestyle his affiliate marketing has brought him. And then of course the beautiful Rosalind Gardner, who is sitting at the end here, is definitely the first person I met out of the group, which also was at Affiliate Summit. And I remember the first time I met her, I was completely starstruck, and I was afraid of talking to her. Turns out she's actually a really nice person, so you don't have to be afraid of her. So Roz does it all. First affiliate marketing guide I ever bought was hers, her Super Affiliate Handbook. Probably the most wholesome course on affiliate marketing to date. It was really the first one, in my opinion. And she will take you through a strategy that isn't just PPC. One of the big things I find about affiliates or find with affiliates is they get so cornered into one strategy or so reliant on things like Yahoo, MSN, that you'll hear stories every single day about the Google slap or this, and their entire business goes from multi-millions to nothing overnight, right? Well, the one person I've seen that's completely hedged against that is Rosalind, by far. Her strategy involves you putting up a true site with content and blogs and email marketing, and she does PPC, she does social marketing, social media. I mean, it's the whole complete, it's a business. It's officially a business, and I think that's something that a lot of affiliates are missing when they start online. They're missing a business. What they have is income. They don't have a business, and that income can go away at any time if Google decides to, or if any other one traffic source decides to. So again, a great person here for you to bring your questions about other things as well, other than PPC. So if we can start, Amit, if you want to take a few minutes, talk about yourself, how you got started, and what you feel your specific specialties are, so that our group here knows what they can ask you about.
Absolutely. Hey, first of all, Amit, thanks for that flattering introduction. My specialty has always been pay-per-click. I started out around 2005. I was looking for opportunities on the internet, and I stumbled upon, direct linking, or as they often call it, Google Cache, where you just write an ad and you put the affiliate link and the destination URL in your Google ad. You drive traffic to your the affiliate site, and as long as your commissions are higher than what you spend, you make a profit. So I was looking for opportunity. I'm really excited about it. And I went through 16 failed campaigns. I always like to talk about that because the biggest key is persistence. Don't give up after 3 campaigns. It's a big tip there. So, and then within 4 months, I made $10,000. 6 months after that, July 15th, 2006, I walked away from my job, never to work a job again. I call it being in the land of the living, because as far as I'm concerned, you don't really start living life until you're outside of the rat race and you're financially independent. And I never looked back after that. And I've kept scaling my business. I started a blog. I'm sure many of you heard of Super Affiliate Mindset, where I share a lot of my strategies at superaffiliatemindset.com. I know I haven't been blogging frequently, but it's a great resource. You can go back, read my posts, a lot of great information on PPC on there. And one of the things that I really pride myself on in PPC is a lot of affiliates, they'll start an affiliate campaign, they'll start a PPC campaign, and they'll get it to maybe $100 a day, $50 a day, maybe $200, $300 a day, and then they'll be happy with that and they'll jump onto something else. I always like focusing on finding campaigns that I can scale to 4 figures a day in revenues and profits. So the key is to really find a campaign that's profitable and then scale it in terms of either adding more keywords or being more specific with your landing page targeting, going onto Yahoo and MSN, other search engines, split testing your ads and your landing pages. So my whole methodology is very, very analytical, which is very different, I know, than Rosalind's is completely different methodology, just as successful, and Colin's is completely different as well. So my methodology is very analytical. I test to the nth degree, and I keep scaling and building up my campaigns. I build one campaign until I'm just killing it before I jump onto something else. And that's how I've generated over $2.4 million last year as an affiliate and continue to do so.
Excellent. Just a quick note, guys, if you're standing in the back, there are some seats that are available up front as well. I'm sure we don't bite and they don't bite. So please join. You can stand, but don't be afraid of walking in. So next, Colin, if you could talk a little bit about yourself.
Oh, absolutely. I got into this business about 2000, 2001, where I was solely based on organic search in Google. And Anik mentioned this, that you've got to take a holistic approach. Google is not your business. It's a mechanism of driving customers to your website. In 2003, I remember this day clearly, November 13th, 2003, I just dropped about $125,000 down payment on a house, dropped about $50,000 new furniture and electronics, to wake up on November 14th to see how many thousands of dollars I made while I slept, and it was in the order of about $6 or $7. And I went, oh my God, what happened to my business? And I tell you, that's the most sinking feeling. I've just recently quit my job, and at that point I was faced at a crossroads. Do I go back and beg my old boss for my job back? But I'd been, living the lifestyle of freedom for about a year. No way can I go back to that. So that decision was easily made. So rather than cry my beer, what I did was got on a plane, went to New York City, and I set this as a goal. And this is something that's very important. Set specific goals in your business and work towards them. Quite often, it's just a matter of desire to get there. Even income levels, no matter what it is. So I wrote this goal down, flying to New York City to a conference out there, establish relationship with Google Engineer. And now I was standing outside the Hilton, New York, just taken in New York. It was the first time I've ever been in that city. Anybody from New York here? What an amazing city. That's just so incredible. I was just taking in the whole vibe. And this gentleman walked out and said he was from a small town looking to do an interview with somebody that recently left his job to pursue an internet marketing business. Hey, I'm Colin McDougall. Good to meet you. He said, well, would you like to do an interview with me in the media room? I said, sure, let's do that. Where's the media room? Now imagine this. The conference halls are way off here to the left, and the media room was way off the beaten track of the conference hallways, and beside that was presenter's room. Bing, light bulb, mission achieved. We've achieved what we've come for. Matt Cutts, senior quality engineer at Google, was a presenter. Presenter's room? Nobody else at this conference knows where this is, except me. Guess where I spend my time? Hanging out in that room, or right in front of that room, and accidentally bumped into Matt Cutts, where we sat down and talked about the SEO strategies I was following, and he went, oh, no, none of that's going to work. And he started talking a lot about a visitor experience back in 2003. So I took all kinds of notes and would accidentally bump into him over and over again. So that's where those of you that know me know I put together the VEO report and various other VEO branded sites. And what that is visitor experience optimization. So what Matt was telling me back then was SEO, the way it was being done, was purely for manipulating the search engine. What about these visitor qualities, like repeat visitors? How many people are coming back to your site? It's like, what about keyword density, Matt? Oh, why do you do that? Well, to rank in your engine. And as they started introducing, this was kind of on the dawn of when they were introducing latent semantic indexing technology. They kind of got it wrong. But long story short, established a relationship with a Google engineer who told me a lot, and transcribed those into a report, and here I am today. But the big story here is if you're relying on organic search only, it's only a matter of time before Google does something. And the nature of organic search, if you lose, say, 3-4 positions, that can have a major impact on your income. That is not a way to run a business. So I instantly called Rosalind Gardner and said, help, I need some help here. She said, go to your list. I don't got one. She cried. She couldn't believe it.
I did. I had tears in my eyes when I heard that he didn't have a list.
The gasp on the phone was, just go to your list. What?
Do you guys know what that means when we say go to your list, your email marketing list? I just want to make sure that
capturing a name and email address is so important. So what I've done is implemented pay-per-click strategies and I use that solely for list building. I used to do a lot of arbitrage, like direct links to Google. I had some amazing campaigns going where I'd arbitrage between Google AdWords to Yahoo Publisher. So in Google to Google arbitrage, making a killing on that dried up pretty darn quick. Now what I do is essentially I'm not selling anything on my landing page. I'm enticing the opt-in. And my most powerful selling page is that thank you page on my autoresponder. And there's a reason for that. You've now got a visitor that's come to your website and they put their hand up and said, yes, I am interested in what you have to say. And that's where I focus on writing my sales copy, whether you're an affiliate or a merchant. And in fact, merchants in the room aren't going to like what I have to say. I'm a merchant first before I'm an affiliate, and the merchant products are on the back end. So what I'll do is, an example was I was making a killing in the slipcover business, and the company that I was promoting owed me $18,000 when they decided, you know what, we're going to file Chapter 11 bankruptcy so we don't got to pay you. That took a major hit in my income. You know, that I had pay-per-click ads going that I had to cancel because my revenue just, based on a merchant decision, poor management, whatever the case might have been. So rather than sell the slipcover directly, what I do is create an info course on how to build your own slipcover, how to put one together. Then on the thank you page, by the way, if you're too lazy to do this, go over here and buy it here. Well, if you want to do it, go buy your fabrics at whatever, fabrics.com. They got free shipping. But it's that thank you page that is the most powerful selling page for me. And in some cases, I've got conversion rates on that page of 83.9% because the visitor is engaged and saying, yes, I want what you have to say.
Great. Excellent. Well, you guys can continue to ask more questions about that. Rosalind, if you could just spend a couple minutes and talk about yourself.
Actually, after 3 days in Vegas, and you know, I don't have much of a voice left, so I'm going to limit my personal introduction. Amit did such a good job. Maybe I'll just ask you, how many people have my book, Super Affiliate Handbook? Oh dear, that's unusual. Usually, it's about 90% of the people in the room raise their hands because that's, I would say, probably 90% of the people at most conferences start their affiliate marketing careers with a copy of the Super Affiliate Handbook. Anyway, it was back in 2003 that I wrote that book, and about my previous 5 years of experience as an affiliate marketer. And what I think I'll do is I'll save the rest of my voice for when we talk about strategy, PPC marketing strategy, and your questions.
All right. So I can get a quick survey of the room so that I know at least how advanced we can get in what we talk about. How many of you here would say you are very advanced PPC marketers? If I could see a raise of, oh, okay, very good. A little bit higher, because there's like half hands and, oh, okay. How about complete beginners? Okay, so as always, it's an even mix. It doesn't help me at all, but anyways, it's good to know. So if you could do me a favor, like I said, this is your panel. This is your discussion. It's going to be really moderated by you, and that's how I like to do things because it makes it easy on me. So if you could ask questions, and if you could, just, you know, if you have a question, if you go ahead and start getting lined up right behind that microphone, that will be the easiest way to kind of go through faster questions rather than having mics run around. Feel free at any point to get up, and I'm going to go ahead and start with a question so we have some time, but it'd be great if we could start seeing some people get up and go to the mic and get their questions ready. So, panel, here's my first question. I know from personally having done it, PPC, SEO, everything, especially PPC, changes almost daily. I mean, the things you got to be doing are changing all of the time. So, you guys have been doing this for years. Amit, if you could start off by talking about how your strategies, and just a couple of quick minutes, nothing, you know, too much, but how has it changed from when you first started to today? What's the couple biggest changes you've made to your strategy?
There's been substantial changes. The biggest change has been the Google quality score, and a lot of you know back in like 2004, 2005, you could, you know, put like, you know, 2,000 keywords in an ad group, throw up a direct linking offer, and bid like 5 cents a click, and it would be profitable. Nowadays, a lot of things happen. The Google quality score, it's way more competitive. The cost per click is way higher. So when I started out, I literally like had permission from the merchant just to copy his landing page, and I would just run that, and I would just bid like 5 cents, and I would make a profit. And I wasn't even doing conversion tracking or anything. Nowadays, the way I set up my campaign, my landing page is radically different than when I started. And if you're trying to do, if you're just trying to, you know, throw a bunch of keywords in an ad group and throw up a direct linking ad, you're fighting a big uphill battle. So basically nowadays, I will build a substantial site for, the first goal is to actually find a winning offer. So you want to test a whole bunch of offers, find something that works. Once you find something that works, you want to build up a substantial site with substantial content so that you don't get slapped, so Google doesn't go across the table and slap you in the face and knock your quality score to 0 and take your minimum bids up to like $5, $10. So you want a substantial site with unique content, targeted landing pages, privacy policy about us. Basically, it has to be a real website. Google doesn't want to see, here's the psychology. Google doesn't want to see a landing page or a site that's sole purpose, like Colin was saying, they're looking for people who have real businesses, which unfortunately is not most affiliates. You want to have a landing page, you want to have a site that's a real site. Beyond just like, the purpose of your site should not just be for your affiliate to click through the affiliate link and go to the merchant site. It should be actually to provide value-added information to the visitor. It should have value. If you took out all the affiliate links from your website, it should still make sense. That's what Google's looking for. They're looking for a real site, a real business that just happens to be using PPC to drive traffic to it as one of their revenue sources. Now, PPC could be your only revenue source, but you have to at least make it look like a real site because your site will be manually reviewed at some point, and if it looks like, oh, this guy just threw this site up just to get PPC traffic, boom, your quality score gets a big hit. So that's a big thing, landing page quality score. The next thing is it's way more competitive now. The cost per click is way higher, so you need to be tracking the conversion rates on every single keyword you have. You need to be either using Google conversion tracking, any of the various tracking softwares out there. What we use through PPC Classroom is something called Optimize Your Site. It's a tracking software created by Jeremy Palmer. And there's others like X Conversions, Prosper 202. There's a whole bunch of traffic solutions out there. I'm not here to advocate one versus the other, but use a tracking software. Make sure in every single affiliate campaign you do that you're tracking the conversions to every single keyword. Here's a big tip. Different keywords have radically different conversion rates. Even the plural versus the singular will have totally different conversion rates. So you have to track. You may not make a huge profit when you first launch your campaign. You may even be breaking even or slightly in the negative, but it's only through testing and tracking, split testing your ads, split testing your landing page, adjusting your keyword bids based on cost per conversion data and conversion data that you can really build a profitable campaign and scale it.
Cool. This is really neat. I don't know if you guys are watching the Twitter updates, but there's like notes from our talk right now. Thank you, Vegas Bill. This is so sweet.
Anik, is there anything else you wanted me to address?
No, that's cool. I think we've got questions, so I want to get through everyone else, and then we'll get to the questions. Colin, what are the two biggest things you've seen change since when you started?
Well, like Amit said, the quality score. It's just I take a whole different approach that I want that lead in my database because the fact is Google's going to change again, and never again will I succumb to what Google decides to do. So I want to make sure I've got that lead in my autoresponder. So it's an opt-in form to a thank you page. And there's a reason I like to have my own info product there. I'll create something that say maybe $4.95 just to qualify. Out of all you, here's an irresistible value. Who has the ability to pay? That is the most critical data. These are people that are not only interested in what I have to say, they are actually proven buyers with the ability to pay. So maybe a 99-cent trial on get my info product, whatever the case might be. I'll keep tweaking and tuning that offer there. So I now have data on who buys. See, when you send somebody direct to a merchant, the problem is the merchant has that data. That's the most powerful data you can have. Who are the buyers that are interested in what you have to say? So, I can put up an offer and give me 5 minutes and I'll have an offer in place on a site just to test that. Sometimes I'll use private label rights content just to do the testing, to go instantly after it and say, okay, there we go. We've got the buyers. I've got a database with a shopping cart of these guys have the ability to pay. And that's what I've been focusing a lot on is, out of all you in this room, who has a credit card? Great. Start filtering people out that way. And it's quite simple to do. So if you're looking at doing an affiliate offer, think about getting your own shopping cart hosted. I use software like Amember. It's, I think, $147, but you now have an affiliate program. You've got all the tracking data. And it's, so for me, that's the biggest thing that I've done to change. So we know Google's going to change. Everything's going to change out there, but I still want to be able to enjoy what I've come to have as my summers of freedom. We'll talk lifestyle in a little while.
Great. Well, common theme we're hearing is tracking. So let's kind of hear that. Rosalind?
I started using PPC marketing when GoTo, or actually Yahoo Search Marketing was a baby. It was GoTo.com. It was a couple of months after they released their service, and I had no strategy. I had absolutely no strategy because, of course, there was no training available. They had scanned information. It was basically buy a click and send traffic wherever you want. And so I thought, well, that's cool, right? So I had an objective. It was send as much traffic to my sites and get as many sales as I could, and go to Tiffany and buy more bracelets. So anyway, what I did was I used Word Tracker, and I still use Word Tracker, and I built a campaign of about 3,000 keywords, and sent all that traffic to my dating site, which I still maintain. It's called sagehearts.com. And of those 3,000 keywords, I was running about 20 micro niches within that dating site, so like mail order brides, gay, lesbian, interracial dating, and all that sort of thing. But you know what? I took this real slapdash approach, and I sent all of that traffic to my homepage. And what was really amazing about that was I basically, right from the beginning, always at least doubled my money. So my strategy, I had a strategy now, was keep doing what I'm doing, and always double your money. I had the rule, double your money. And I always did that. At least I would double my money, triple my money, quadruple my money. And it was, it just kept going from there. So what happened was then from GoTo, I started using all of the pay-per-click search engines available. And that's changed a little bit over time. And I did no analysis. Like, my approach to business is more about time and effort. It's less time, less effort, more money. So I unlike Amit, I did no analysis back at that time. It was just all bottom line stuff. How much are you spending and how much are you making? And as long as you're at least doubling your money, you're doing good. And I was doing good because I was buying those bracelets at Tiffany. So in the meantime, I'll get to 2008, 2009 in a bit. The biggest mistake I ever made with my PPC campaigns was to outsource them, and I did that twice. Once I did that with an independent contractor, and I spent a whole pile of money in the first month. And what she basically did was she took my beautifully structured campaign, because by that time I had gotten to the point where I had segmented it all off, and I was driving traffic to individual category pages, right, individual to the mail order bride pages, and I found that my conversions were increasing, and of course I was making more money. And the more that I segmented everything off, the more money I make. And she took that whole campaign and with these beautiful subject lines and these beautiful descriptions, and would you like to meet the beautiful Russian woman and whatever, and it was just straight. Her subject lines were, mail order brides, meet more mail order brides, online, whatever, right? She had basically made it a very, very generic campaign throughout. So I had to restructure my whole campaign. And the next time that I outsourced some of that was Yahoo Search Marketing made the nice offer to give me some assistance, and they essentially made it even worse, because now I had about 200 uncategorized campaigns. Right? I had a couple. They had split some of them out according to the keywords. I actually ended up with a couple thousand different campaigns based on all those keywords that I had. So basically, take the whole account that I had, and I deleted it, and I had to start over. Fortunately, I had kept all of my Excel spreadsheets. So bringing it up to 2008, 2009, what with? Let me go back a bit. Back in those days, the dating programs that I was running, everybody was very generous, and the programs were paying 50% lifetime recurring. Really, really nice, right? Well, most of those guys now are paying, like $2, $4 on a lead or whatever, and there's no more recurring, or they'll pay 100% on the front end, but there's no more recurring. So had to get just a little bit smarter. And so what I ended up doing was, my main focus is always about the list. It's just as with Colin now, right? It's always about building that list and having the customer. And I'd say that my most significant changes is that I run it more to, like, I'll write a review and I'll send traffic to individual review pages as well as category pages. And now my PPC spend is probably 30% of what it was. Like, I remember I was spending about a little more than $1,000 a day. My PPC spend is down to 30% of that, and I probably have doubled my income in that time, and that's all about what Anik was talking about earlier, by using all of those other strategies. And I've always done that. I've always built relationships with the people on my list and continued that through social media marketing. And one of the biggest ways that I've reduced my PPC marketing costs is that I've, what have I done?
Welcome to Vegas.
I use it more as an SEO strategy. So if I write a new page, like a new review page or whatever, I'll PPC that for a couple of days or a couple of weeks and use it to get a little bit of traction in the search engines, and then I'll just pull the campaign. And once I've got that traction, it just keeps going. Because we get some traffic from the search engines. That keeps coming. Google loves me, and then I move on to my next page. So.
Great. All right. Well, let's go right to the questions. I see we've got a couple people. If you could just give us your name and maybe what site or where you're from, that'd be great.
Matthew Comp from Go Consumers. My question is, when doing PPC to a site that is just strictly made for advertising, a strategy that's been successful has been to taking the individual keyword, certainly working that into the ad, but then having a page specifically for that keyword. So the title, the headings, and a few other areas are designed to highlight that particular keyword. My concern or question is that a strategy that's going to end up coming back and biting me when we're talking about, duplicate content pages? What I have is hundreds of pages that are varied slightly, towards the keyword itself. And with the different things that have happened, especially with Google recently, my question is, should I be working in a different direction with this?
I would say yes. I spoke at another conference back in the spring, and I used a term there that you're probably paying what I call the Google stupid tax, and forgive me on using that word. It's more of a Google ignorance tax. It sounds like what you're doing is spinning out articles, replacing keywords. Google's so onto that. If that's what you're doing, and it sounds like that's what you're doing, you need to have real content. So made for advertising sites, Google doesn't like, is there any value to the visitor? And the way to answer that is strip out all the advertising. Amit mentioned this. If you take all advertising off your site, does your site have any value? Get your mother to look at it and have her tell you if it is any good or not.
And it certainly does, and enjoys about a 50% conversion rate. So, and again, I just want to make sure I get your answer. Just strictly for PPC and not for organic, you see that as a problem?
That could be an issue, but if you're making money with it, change nothing. Yeah. If you're concerned, what you do is start another site in the same niche and test there. Write some real content and see what kind of, if you're getting any reduction in cost per click. And that's one of the best rules here is if you're making money, don't touch it. Try it somewhere else. Don't ever muck up anything that's working, because to get it back again sometimes is more of an issue.
Hey, I'd like to add something as well. Your strategy, the methodology, your strategy is right on. The basic idea is you want your ad and your landing page correspond as tightly to the keyword as possible, as tightly to the theme as possible. And that will not only get you higher conversions, it'll also get you a higher quality score. Yes. Because Google looks at the theme of your page and see how strongly it connects to the ad and the keyword that the user is typing in. And the more tightly those are connected, the higher conversion rate you're going to get. However, Colin is absolutely right. If you're just using dynamic keyword insertion, you will get slapped. However, if you also have unique content on your landing page that's related to the keyword, so let's say you're doing this for 100 keyword groups, but if you have unique content related to that keyword or that theme on your landing page, so making those 100 landing pages unique, then you should be okay.
Okay, thank you.
Great, thanks. Next question?
Yeah, my name is John Peroni, and the site is educationforcareers.com. We're in the education business. We have a school directory. You've probably all seen the Kaplan ads and DeVry and University of Phoenix. Those are all our clients. We do pay-per-click, and we have a site with a directory of schools. Someone logs on the site and chooses a school. When I'm buying pay-per-click, like a word like online degree or online degrees, there'll be literally 30 pages of sponsored link results. To be on the first page, you have to pay $12 a click, and the conversion rate of click to lead doesn't work when we sell the lead. So my question is, what would the strategy or effectiveness be of those people who consistently are buying, and they're on pages 10 through 30, and they're buying at lower rates? Why are they doing that? How are they benefiting by that practice, and can I participate in that practice, or do I have to pay $12 a click and be on page 1 to get results?
Well, one of the things I do in cases like that, if I'm paying $12 a click, quite often I'll just say, you know what, it ain't worth it, and I'll deploy social media strategies, organic search strategies. Another thing, if I can't make sense of it, I become their customer. You know, go or become friends with one of their customers. What else did they sell you? You know, when you're talking about education, look at the money that's involved in the year. You know, you got like a 4-year commitment to go into university at whatever, $20,000 a semester, whatever it is. You can make sense of that $12 per click. So you just have to look at your back end. If you're not sure, go talk to their customers and find out how much money have you spent with that company. And if I'm paying that much and can't make sense, you know what? PPC is not part of my traffic strategy for that particular business.
Yeah, I would have to say that try to go for some long tails. Online degree is way too general keyword. You might want to do some geo-targeting. As far as you're not allowed to bid on the actual names of the universities, are you?
We do. We do. And my specific question is why would my other competitors who have my same sets of clients, we have the same directories, why would they consistently be buying and appearing on pages 10 to 30? How do they benefit by that?
Well, they're probably not. You're assuming your competitors know what they're doing. They may not know what they're doing. There's a lot of stupid advertisers out there who are just bidding on really general keywords. Obviously, if they're on page 30, they're not going to get a whole lot of traffic. They might just have thrown a whole bunch of keywords into their AdWords campaign, and they're just seeing what sticks, you know.
Your competitors might have more on the back end as well. They might be selling other products, their own products, so it might be worth $12 a click. But I would definitely say dump those generic keywords and go for some really good long tail, and make sure that you've got a lot of good content in terms of articles and that sort of thing, and direct those people to that information first.
Just throwing this out there to add to that question, couldn't it also be that they have one campaign set up? They're not really getting traffic from the search part because they're on page 30, but the content part, maybe they're running on Content Network and it's the same campaign, which it shouldn't be. We always recommend splitting those campaigns out, but I mean, they don't know that. Could it be just that they are getting traffic, but they're paying a lot for it through the Content Network, or less than $12 a click on the Content Network?
Yeah, but they're obviously not tracking because they can turn off the search and just run it on content,
Right,
you know?
right, exactly. All right, great.
Thank you.
We have another question?
Hi, my name is Byron Walker from Denver, and a question on Google Quality Score. At what point do you start seeing a dramatic drop in your cost per click? Is it, because I believe it's 7 out of 10 you get a great score, right?
Yeah.
Is it, do you see a noticeable drop in your cost per click at that point, or is it only when you reach 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10? I'm also curious, how high have you seen it? Have you ever gotten 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10?
Well, it depends. It depends on your keyword, it depends on your ad, and it depends on your landing page. So there's many factors that go into Google Quality Score. First, it comes down to how targeted your ad is, how tightly targeted your ad groups are. If you have really tightly targeted ad groups and you have your keyword in your ad, that plays a huge factor in your quality score. If your landing page is, if you followed all the guidelines I said about having a real landing page, and your landing page is targeted to your ad and your keyword, that the more granular are, the higher the quality score you will get. And it also depends on, you know, whatever the ad rank of your competitors are compared to your quality score. Your ad rank is basically the cost per click you pay times your quality score. And whatever your competitors will also have an ad rank, so that will also play a factor in your cost per click. But here's the idea. Don't worry, there's no like, that formula is way too complicated what you're asking for. Systematically keep working on improving also CTR plays a huge role. You want to systematically keep improving your ad. Keep split testing your ad. Make sure your campaign is as granular as possible right from the get-go. I would even recommend 1 keyword per ad group, or at least a very small set of keywords per ad group. No more than 20 keywords per ad group, and you want to be all tightly targeted. And the best way to improve your quality score over time, there's a history factor, so the longer you run them, it'll improve over time, but the best way to improve your quality score is keep split testing your ads.
Okay. And do you see a noticeably a big difference in your cost per click when you're at 8 out of 10? I mean,
the
haven't
higher
seen my
that
cost per
number
click
goes, the lower your cost per click will go, and the lower your first page bids will go.
Okay.
There's a noticeable difference.
I just haven't seen a noticeable difference in the drop in my cost per click, even though I went from okay to great. So, but I did have the other question of, can you get 10 out of 10? Is that even possible?
Well, did your ad position go up? Are you tracking your ad position as well when you went from okay to great?
No, I'm forcing it or keeping it in that 5-6 range. And
okay. Well, when you start using those algorithms, you don't know what Google's doing. So, so that's actually a good question. I don't know.
Yeah, quite often what I'll do is use some like I mentioned, latent semantic indexing. If you're not familiar, all that is your keyword phrase. There's also other words and phrases that relate to that in the eyes of Google. There's a tool I use called KRA Pro by Dr. Andy Williams that generates all that for you. There's all kinds of tools out there. So I'd get hold of a latent semantic indexing tool and start using semantically related phrases in there. I find that helps get the quality score up, my cost per click down. Another thing that I've done is that, well, if I was running Google, wouldn't I say those that are willing to spend more on my daily budget, isn't that a quality factor from our point of view as Google.com? I'd say yeah. So what I'll do is sometimes set an outrageously high daily spend budget with an outrageously high cost per click. And there's been cases where, say, I'm bidding 50 cents on a keyword, and I'll be paying 49 cents on a click. I'll take and let's say I was bidding, or maximum spend was $1,000. I'll say, you know what, I'm willing to spend $15,000 a day at $5 a click. You know, watch that like a hawk if you do this. I don't recommend this for any newbies.
I'd have a hard time sleeping, but yeah.
I've had a $2,000, $3,000 lunch by doing that. But quite often that'll get your cost per click cut in half. Not always the case, though. So, like Amit was mentioning,
I would be careful about strategy.
Be very careful.
I would advocate that.
Make sure you've got money to burn if you do that. But these are just little things. Like the Google algorithm is so complicated. Nobody knows it all. Here's some things to try.
And from the one with no voice, I think the way to simplify that best is just to really, really pay attention always to your CTR, right? Just always work to improve your CTR.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, exactly. As Rosalind said, CTR and how granular your campaign is. Those are the two biggest factors that play a factor in your quality score. So if you're doing that and you're getting a great quality score, you're on the right track.
Okay, great, thanks.
All right, great. We are at, I think, 15 minutes left. So let's do this. Ask your question, and let's try to have one panelist answer it so that we can make sure we get through, since we have a few people. Unless there is something you truly, truly need to add, then feel free to. But go ahead.
My name is Patrick Pete. My site is youcan-behealthy.com. And I guess since you said we asked one, I guess I'd ask Rosalind, because she sort of initiated the question. You mentioned email marketing, you mentioned the list. So when you said you cried when he didn't have the list, I said she might shed a tear for me too. So
oh no!
We'll try for you.
No.
I had a couple of things I wanted to ask. One, what types of strategies, ideas toward generating lists? And then I guess the second question would be, you mentioned, and I noticed from you and Amit, I don't know if I got your name wrong, but talked about, it seems as though you're talking about being very specific with targeting and long tailing and all this. So with email marketing lists, what is your ideas about being more specific with your email list? In other words, I have things like components of fitness, and they talk about cardiovascular and various things. What about having specific lists that are targeted towards specific things? I want to get your ideas about that.
Absolutely, and that's how my strategy changed over the years. I ended up basically sending, if I sent traffic to the mail order brides page, they could actually sign up for a list that was specifically dedicated to people who were looking for mail order brides, who were interested in maybe romance tours, because some of the merchants that I deal with do tours to Kiev and Moscow and that sort of thing. And so $500 commissions, right? I want to send people to that page, and build an autoresponder series around that. And what I use in that case is testimonials from the people who have bought through me, and just, hey, so-and-so had a great time, met his wife, blah, 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 they've been married for 10 years, and all of that sort of stuff to just reinforce, what a beneficial product this is, and please buy from me. So, and then, of course, you've got your, highly targeted affiliate links in that particular list. So for every specific niche that you, within your main category, you really should have a separate list and be sending traffic to those pages and getting people to sign up for that. And you do have an AWeber account, don't you?
I'm going to give one. I have
like as soon as you leave the room?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have with Constant Contact.
Okay. Oh, whichever one. It's just I've been using them for like 10 years, and
I'm sort of working on how I generate that list.
yeah. Just.
Always about laser targeting.
And take, you can take some of the content that you've got on your site. Maybe you want to take a little bit of the content off your site and put that into your autoresponder series, and just direct people to sign up for the list and say that you've got something for them.
Okay, great. Next question.
Thanks. So drilling down a little bit further into the list in that AWeber email marketing, could you tell us the frequency? I'm sure you've tested it. Do you email once a week, once a month? Do you use HTML, photos, coupons? What has worked best in your email marketing campaign?
I don't test a lot. I play. I kind of throw it out there. And I find that with different niche markets, it's completely different, and it depends on what you're selling, right? So with the, I don't broadcast too often to the dating list. I've got a very long autoresponder series, and that I think is probably big. It depends on it so depends on the market. I mean, if you've got an evergreen kind of niche like dating, like really what changes? Right? The motivation is always the same, whereas in the business opportunities, there's always new products coming in and new things that people want to know about and really need to get on board with, and you've got new products to sell. So it really all depends. So with the dating niche, I mean, you can have 52 in your autoresponder series and be sending those things once a week, and as long as you're always bringing them back to your site, right?
I have tested just a little bit, so I can share. For me, text emails or text newsletters were converting far better in click-through rates than were HTML. I know that HTML is very popular for the brand and because you can put images and your logos, and that's all good and great. But the minute you put HTML into your autoresponder or into an email, your spam scores instantly goes up just because there's HTML in it. And those little things make a huge difference when you're trying to deliver email. Also, it's just easier to read. I mean, I know that personally, I feel that way. And so we had been doing text emails for a long time. And then we finally took a period at the middle of last year in 2008, and we tested it. We would actually split test our newsletter, and we would see the click-through rates on each one, and it was about 40% higher on the text. It was a significant difference. So we are 100% text. Also, in certain niches, I've found that people are very nervous about messaging their list a lot. So, sometimes they'll say, oh, once a week. Actually, we found that when we were messaging them more often, conversions are higher and they're buying more. So there are certain niches in which I will contact my list 3 to 5 times a week. And I've tested it, and it works a lot better than doing it once a month. they might even forget about me if it's once a month. So just a couple of things I have tested in that area.
Can I just add something there? I find that text HTML split, you really do have to test that one, because from niche to niche that will change.
Yeah, that's very possible. It's very possible. Question?
Hi, I'm Chad Lomberger from Mode2. I actually had a couple questions regarding how you guys test different offers. I know you've pushed a lot behind the test before invest methodology. So when you're comparing different offers on different networks, determining who's scrubbing and who's not, one of the techniques that I've seen employed is iframing. And I know this is kind of a taboo topic, but I'm really curious how you guys deal with IE's limitation on dropping a third-party cookie for iframing.
Can you repeat that last part? That last
So-
sentence you said something about third-party cookie?
IE, the recent revs of IE and several other browsers don't allow for a cookie to be passed through an iframe. So I'm curious if you guys utilize that as a technique still, or if you try to work with the merchant to get them to actually push out the server code.
Yeah, I recommend iframing to my students because with the one URL rule, what happens with if you're direct linking with the one URL rule, if you're doing it for really competitive offers, like a competitive CPA offer, a competitive ClickBank offer, or whatever, you're likely to get bumped for the high converting keywords. So yeah, you'll get traffic for direct linking, but you may not make any sales. You may spend hundreds of dollars and not make a single sale. The way around that is to do an iframe. And I don't know the technical issues of iframes not working. I just do a straight PHP iframe. PHP redirect iframe that I recommend to my students. I don't know the technicalities of what iframe works in different browsers and stuff like that. But yeah, I definitely recommend. Typically, when I test, I don't recommend spending more than $50. If you spend $50 on an offer and you're not breaking even or making a profit, then just dump it and move on to something else.
So you don't notice per different merchant any issues with actually using iframes and conversion tracking?
I wouldn't recommend doing it long term.
Sure, just to test up
Just to
front.
test.
Yeah.
Just to quickly test. And if it's a winner, then by all means, that's when you take time to invest and make a landing page.
Okay, so if I understand, you guys really aren't seeing any issue with iframing and a third-party cookie. It just no real big difference between IE or Firefox.
Not at all. I mean, I've done it in the past as an affiliate, and I've never had a problem. I mean, it may be like 10, 15%, but remember, you're just doing a test.
Okay.
And this is exactly why I create my own offer, so I don't got to think about cookies. Create an info product, I make more, I can instantly change pricing if I think that's a variable. When you're relying on the merchant, you can't phone your merchant and say, hey, can you drop your pricing by $10 today for me? Oh, can you raise it by $10? Seriously consider putting an info product on the front end and worry about affiliate stuff on the back end. So one of the facts in life is there's all kinds of Norton antivirus things out there. Oh no, I got tracking cookies on my computer. Let's delete those. You're instantly losing commissions on issues like that. So, consider putting your own info product together first and iframing this, iframe that. That's not making me money. I don't want to think about that.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
All right. So we still have a few minutes left. So if you have a question, please work your way to that microphone. I have a question, and I think this would be very helpful. So in today's day, running an active campaign and being able to scale that campaign involves having thousands of keywords. And you heard at one point Amit say that he prefers to have one keyword per ad group. So you do the math. Setting up 30,000 ad groups is kind of a challenge manually. So it's the age of tools. There are tools left and right to help you do PPC. And I think you're getting to the point now, or I think we're all getting to the point now where if you're not using tools, it's going to be very hard to compete because there are some very slick PPC marketers using great tools, some in-house, others on the market. So if each of you could really quickly, just because we have only a few minutes left and we have one more question, give me your favorite PPC tool you use that our attendees can write down, and like 2 sentences about why or what it does and why you use it. So Amit, what's your favorite PPC tool and why?
I think, I don't want to recommend one tool because I know a lot of people like lots of different tools, but in terms of campaign setup, either efficient PPC or speed PPC work really well in terms of quickly setting up a campaign and allow you to do the one keyword per ad group. I honestly prefer, I do something a little more sophisticated. I'll set up all my campaigns in spreadsheets and I'll have an outsourcer group the campaigns manually and I'll upload them through AdWords Editor. And that's something I talked about in PPC Classroom in detail about how to do that. And there's a lot of advantages of doing that, but if you want something quick and dirty, efficient PPC, speed PPC will work absolutely great in terms of quickly setting up a campaign and doing the one keyword per ad group and setting up your ads, and you can do tokens and pass variables and all kinds of crazy crap. So.
All right.
I like spyfoo.com. Yeah, I'm a lazy marketer. I like to look at what my competitors are doing, look at the niche, collect the keywords there, start as a base. But having said that, we mentioned this earlier, I can't remember if it was Amit or myself, your competitors may not necessarily know what they're doing, but it certainly is a quick and lazy way for me to just say, hey, what are you guys bidding on? Cool, thanks. So, spyfoo.com. Yeah, spyfu.com. Yeah, I got to say FU from the stage. You'll notice internet marketers are not the most mature people on the face of the planet.
All right, great. Rosalind?
Well, and I'm all about karma, so I don't do to anybody else or don't do to anybody what I wouldn't want to have done to me. And I don't trust the other people out there, so I don't use keyword spy tools. My favorite keyword tool, actually like Amit, is Microsoft Excel. That's my handy-dandy little spreadsheet or a big spreadsheet.
Okay, great. We have one question.
It's for Amit. Any top 5 ideas for scaling a campaign in pay-per-click?
Absolutely. First one is start with a small keyword list, always to test, and then I usually ramp. Once I find a profitable offer, an offer that I think has huge potential, I add tons of keywords. I use some of the spy tools. I like Keyword Spy, Key Compete, and I'll just add dozens and thousands and tens of thousands, 50,000, 100,000 keywords into the campaign. And that's a huge way to get way more volume. I'll use multiplier list. Also, I'll use Google Keywords tool. Every keyword tool I can imagine, I'll just find as many keywords as I can. Once I find a profitable offer, and I'll scale it up. I'll add long tails to ad groups that are getting the most conversions. I'll go in there, add long tails in there. Once my campaign is optimized, I'll take it onto Yahoo and MSN. I'll rigorously split test the ads, the top performing ad groups, to get higher CTR on my ads for my top performing ad groups. Not every one. I will split test my landing page. Here's a big one. I'll get more granular with my top performing ad groups. I'll make targeted landing pages for those keywords that are getting the most traffic and most conversions. Ultra targeted landing pages. That have unique content. I'll have campaigns that have 30, 40 unique pages, and I know some super affiliates will do hundreds of unique pages for their campaign. It's a little bit of work, but the return you'll get is going to be huge. So that's at least 5, right? Sounds right. Yeah, so that's a huge tip. So if you have a campaign that's doing $50 a day, chances are there's a super affiliate out there that's making couple thousand a day with it. Not for every campaign, but that's usually that's usually the case. You're usually just touching the surface. If you think you're doing good in the campaign, there's always somebody doing way more volume than you.
All right, so I'm showing we have 1 more minute, so I'm going to squeeze in one more question. Really quickly, and you don't have to defend or if you want to, you don't have to. What's your favorite keyword research tool to find keywords for your campaigns?
Keyword Spy. Bottom line, it's $130 a month, but it's worth every cent.
Keywordspy.com. That's the domain.
Yeah, I actually use Keyword Spy, SpyFoo, Word Tracker, the Google external keyword tool. There's various sources out there. And the one thing you have to realize with keyword research is all keyword research is inherently inaccurate. I use it as more or less a barometer to see is there demand and take it from there.
Word Tracker.
Still old school word tracker. All right. Thank you, everyone. You have surveys. I was asked if you could please fill those out and tell everyone how much you loved us. That would be great. And have a great lunch. Thank you.